this is Olympia and welcome to another video, and today I'm going to be doing a training time. So we've got Victory here, we're going to be training Victory. I have been training her a little bit, but with college and everything it's kind of like I've not had time, so we're going to train her now. And as per usual training style, I'm just going to start talking and we're going to see where this conversation leads us. For like the last 2 months or so, I've had less interest in playing the piano. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's just when you kind of get really bored of a skill. I still played it every day. I still tried to get in at least a little bit of practice, but I didn't play it as much as I used to before. And then I bought a song recently. I bought Taylor Swift's Wildest Dreams because I was like, that sounds quite cool and I want to play it. And so I bought that one and I've been obsessed with playing it. Honestly, I've just been playing it so much. Usually I play them once when I go. Every song that I'm practicing, usually I'll practice it once, and then I'll move on to a different song, and then I'll leave the piano for a couple hours and come back later and play it again. So I'm not getting bored of my songs. But that one I just keep going back and playing twice or 3 times in a session, and honestly, I'm not bored of it yet. I'm still loving it. Honestly, it's my favourite song to play at the moment. I think it's just because there's one bit in it where it goes the low chorus, and it's my favourite part to play. I recorded it and put it on Instagram if anybody wants to listen to that, because I don't know if I can put it on here. I might be able to. I'll edit it in and we'll see how quickly that gets a copyright strike. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with nothing interest for a little bit. I still kept it up, I still played it, but I just didn't have as much love for it as I usually do. And now that I'm back into it, I'm playing it a lot. I've been going back to my older pieces and learning to play them again, and I'm enjoying it now a lot more. So, also, right, I posted on my story ages ago on Instagram, but if Star Stable sold the music sheets for their pieces, Stars, or I've listened to a lot of them, but I don't. The Veldale Hymn or something. I think I would buy them because I really want to be able to play them. Oh, I would instantly just be I want to play them so badly. I would, even if they were 20 quid on their website, I'd probably still buy them because I just, I want to play them. But, Star Stable don't do that, so that's sad. Because Stars and the Veldale Hymn is the 2 that I like the most, and I would play them, or Fire. I would play them all. I would learn. I'd buy them all, and I'd play them. They're so pretty. Because there's got to be some kids. I know this is a kids game, right? Which is probably why they don't do it. Because don't know how many 13-year-olds can play really hard pieces of music. There probably is loads of them, but probably not that play Star Stable. To be fair, Star Stable is aimed at girls that like horses, not girls that like piano, to be fair. But there must be some girls that or children, younger people that like to play piano and would like to play these songs. I want to play them. I could probably work it out if you gave me enough time. It's like a monkey on a typewriter, isn't it? If you gave me enough time, I could probably work them out. But that takes a lot of effort when you could just buy the music. I'm still learning. I've only been playing piano for about 3 years properly. I've got to the point now where I can sight read a lot of pieces that are easy. The site I use, Sheet Music Direct, it has almost 3 tiers. It has really easy piano, which is they tell you the notes on the notes. Then they have easy piano, which they have bass clef and treble clef, and it's simplified. And then they have the right hand melody and vocals and guitar chords, or piano solo. They're the same thing, kind of. I'm now between easy piano and right hand melody because I can sight read the easy piano really easily. I can pretty much just do it straight off the bat. I've been sight reading for 8 years, so I'm pretty good at that one. The right hand melody sometimes is a bit difficult for me, which is good because it's challenging my skill. But sometimes it's frustratingly difficult. So when I choose the music, I try to choose it so something that I'm going to enjoy to play. At the moment it's usually right hand melody, but if it's too hard in like the first beginning bit, then I'll choose the easy piano, because I think it's better to enjoy it and like learn it easily than it is to struggle and hate every single moment I'm learning it. So that's where I am with that at the moment. I'm between 2 levels, which is a really difficult place to be. I started piano when I was like 9, I think. And then I did it until I was 13 and I quit with a teacher because that was all like classical. I hated classical. I got really bored really quickly. I did some grades. I didn't really like it. And then during lockdown, so in 2020, I like sat down at my piano and like picked up some of the pieces that I had, and I was like, I kind of want to learn to play it again. And because I already had the base knowledge of like notes and stuff, I found it pretty easy. So then I went back to my old teacher and was like, can you recommend me a website to buy music, because I'm like getting back into it. I used to be on like easy piano stuff, and anything after that I've been like self-teaching myself. Anyway, we should probably stop talking about piano because I can talk about this all day. I watched a movie yesterday. Okay, so I recently worked out that I can watch a movie whilst I'm training, which is like being a life changer, you know. I can watch a movie, I don't get bored, I can train whilst I'm doing it, because I find it really difficult to focus on things for long periods of time. So like training, I find really difficult to do more than like 10 minutes a day because I just get really bored. And then also movies, I find it really difficult to watch just a movie outright because it feels like I'm wasting my time. I don't know if anybody else feels like that, but I feel like I've wasted my time if I've just watched a movie and done nothing, unless it's in the evening. And if it's in the evening, then it's kind of like okay, but like if it's during the day, I feel like I've wasted my time. And so doing training with it, gone off a level. Doing training with also watching a movie like kind of stops the feeling of like I'm wasting my time. But anyway, the movie I watched yesterday was called Spirit Untamed. I don't know if anybody else has watched it, but I bought it like Thursday because I was like, oh, it kind of looks interesting. My uncle kind of joked to me when it came out in cinemas, like, oh, you should go watch it because you like horses. And so I was like, I'll get it and we'll see. And if it's like, I went in with no expectations. It's like, I watched the entire Spirit Riding Free series, like during lockdown. I watched the entirety of it. Yeah, so I had no expectations because I knew like Spirit Riding Free is okay for the demographic it's aimed at, but it wasn't necessarily like the most enjoyable series because it did have lots of like secondhand embarrassment moments or moments where you just kind of like just grow up a little bit. But that's because it's not aimed at like, you know, 15-year-olds. It was aimed at 9 to 13-year-olds, like a bit like Star Stable is. I think I'll enjoy it, but I don't think I'll come out with like any higher expectations than I went in with. I came out of it and I was like, that is the most amazing movie I've watched in a while. Like, I like kids movies better than adult movies because adult movies turn down saturation. What the hell is wrong with that? Like, turn up the gamma. I need to be able to see what's going on. Also, I struggle to follow adult movies because there's a lot of like social interaction that you're meant to follow and imply things from, and I don't do that. So like if it's relying on inferring things from dialogue and stuff, I'm pretty bad at it. But like kids movies tend to be quite upfront with what they mean. I just like kids movies better. They're just more enjoyable and they're shorter, so I don't have to sit there for so long. I watched Spirit Untamed and honestly the animation style was like some really good. I was going in quite skeptical of the animation style because it's different to how it's kind of different to how the actual movie, the actual series is animated, and they've changed some of the character styles, designs. I like that they gave Prue curls. I don't know what to call it. They made her, because in the series her hair was like straight or like curly, slightly curly, but then they gave her like, I'll put a picture on the screen because someone can educate me on that. I should know what they're called, but I don't know, and I don't want to get it wrong. And Abigail, I like the redesign of Abigail. And also Lucky, I loved all Lucky's outfits, but I loved all the music in it. I was really mad that the music wasn't on my piano because like on like the website I use for my piano, because like I really want to learn to play it. It was so good. Like Fearless was so good. It's like one of my new favourite songs. Better With You, I think it's called. I love the chorus. Oh, it was good music. The riding capabilities were like semi-realistic up until about the 45-minute mark, which then they kind of went like a bit like unbelievable, but you know, I get it, it's a horse action movie, you can't really be like having a bad rider for loads of it. And at least they got halfway through before they kind of went a bit unbelievable with it. It was a really good movie, and also all the dialogue, there was genuinely some funny moments in it. All the dialogue was great. I loved the dialogue. I love Aunt Cora's transition from like stuck up lady of the city to just like completely a Miradero, getting into the life of it and enjoying it. Why are there so many donkeys today? What the hell? I really loved her transformation. Not gonna lie, I kind of really liked Aunt Cora in jeans, you know? That was I did not expect to see that, but I liked it. So I like that Aunt Cora got a bit more like subtle character development, because in the series she stays pretty much the same the entire time. Also, the thing that bugged me in the series was that the characters barely got any shading, so they looked really flat almost in a 3D environment, which kind of bugged me. But in this one they actually didn't do that, so it was really cute. Okay, so I was like, I'm probably seeing things, but I swear the dad looked a bit like Kristoff. You can't tell me otherwise. I was like, every time I looked at him, I was like, am I watching the right movie? And then I was like, no. So someone's got to tell me they kind of look similar, because like, come on, they do. And also, I like the plot. I think it's quite a simple plot. The things that they did a lot in the series of like bank robbers and stealing wild horses that they have to go save. They did that a lot in the series, but they did it really well. They executed well. This is like spoilers, by the way. So like, someone steals Spirit's herd and they go after them, and obviously at the end they rescue them. There's a very simple concept, but it's so good. You know, I love the beginning bit where Lucky's pulling the curtain back and forth, like, I don't want to talk to you kind of thing. And also the reason why they're going to Miradero is kind of fun. Also, the little bit of like issues that Lucky and her dad had with the fact that like he tried to tell her what to do after he literally gave her up for like 13 years or however old she is in the movie, and then just tried to come back into her life and like boss her around. Yeah, so I think that the only thing I would say is that it was almost, I praise it for being quite simple, but like they could have expanded on like relationships a bit more, because I feel like Prue and Abigail and Lucky all became friends quite quickly. And I know I've watched the series, so I didn't feel like they became friends quite quickly to me, because I've watched the entire series. So I already know these characters, and it would have been just annoying to have to see them make friends all over again. But I do feel like they became friends a little quickly, and also they didn't really, before Lucky embarks them on this journey to go rescue some wild horses, they don't really talk. They have like 3 lines of dialogue all between them, to each other, before Lucky like ropes them into this wild plan. I think as like a kids movie, like one that I went in with no expectations of, it like was really good. So you know, I'm happy with that movie, especially as I paid full price for it, because usually I go to like my secondhand shops for movies because it's cheaper, but that one I paid full price for, so you know, I'm happy with it. Like it was a good movie. I loved the music. I think the music is the best part of it. It was a fun like hour and a half. I think I'd have to watch it again. Usually the first time I watch it, I don't remember anything from it very much. I remember like the big parts of it, but I don't remember like smaller parts of it, especially as I was training at the time, so I don't remember like everything that happened. So to be fair, they could have had more character development, and I just didn't notice because I was focusing on training. So I want to watch it again, but it was a good movie. I liked it. Like, for a horse movie, it is now show season, which means that I am now doing shows until I finish college, which is about 6 weeks time. So yeah, it's been quite busy. We did Music Fest, and I don't like music. Okay, I don't like loud music. Because I get sensory overloads, so having loud music for prolonged periods of time makes me cranky at people and makes me scream, shout, like get really annoyed with people. I've always had a short temper. I think this is like something. Okay, so I don't really talk about it, but like I have a short temper. Usually, I've been working on it for the past 9 years, and it's gotten pretty good. I'm pretty like good at it now. But when there's like loud music, it comes back up and I get really angry at people for no reason. So I've recently worked out that that's a sensory overload response. Everything's just so much and so loud that my senses kind of go, no. And then I have a shorter fuse. And like for a person that already has a quite short fuse, like that's That's not a very good thing. I don't really like loud music shows because they're really obnoxious for me, and I have ear defenders, so I wear them around the theatre, and if I can, I won't go to like the show. I'll help set up, I'll help do sound, like help set everything up and maybe stay for sound checks, but once we go on break and the show is there, if I'm not needed for the show, then I'll just ask to leave. But my lecturer knows like that I get sensory overload, so he's always like, yeah, you can go, because I know this is like physically painful. Because like, yeah, it's just like, aside from just like getting a short temper, it's also quite painful. I get really bad headaches, and also it's almost like physically hurting me. I don't know how to explain it. I think people that get sensory overloads would know, but like, it's almost like it's physically painful. Like dance shows and theatre productions, which is what I want to do when I'm older, or like when I leave college, they're fine. I don't find that I get so annoyed with them. Like sometimes the music might get a bit annoying, especially if it's got like a really prominent bass line to it. Sometimes it might get a bit annoying and I might get frustrated with it, and then I can just put my ear defenders on and be fine, unless I'm doing sound. In that case it's kind of a bit of a problem, but that's more like dance show issues. But like, they're fine usually. Like, I'm usually fine with those. It's just music shows, because it's the drums, it's the bass. That's what gets me the most, is the bass. I've always had like a trigger of the bass, of like the drums. Someone that knows drums can correct me, but like the big drum in the middle, like, I don't know what it's called, bass drum, I don't know. That one's the one that triggers me the most. My sister's home from uni today, the day that I'm recording this. She goes back the day I upload this, but she's coming back the day after I upload this, because she's got a friend's party, and that's literally the only reason she's going back. But she's home from uni now, so I might get some videos with her while she's home. She has a Sausage Ball account, so I'll have to like get her to play with me at some point, and we can do some like, I don't know, quests together or something. I've been reading this book whilst I've been in college, and this book series, I like the series anyway, and then I was taking the books to college because for like shows while I'm waiting to do stuff, or like in downtime, and they're basically like twisted versions of Disney fairy tales, so that's what they're called, like twisted. That's the series. So the first one I got was like the Twisted Frozen one, and that was really good. I like that one a lot. And then I got the Twisted Cinderella one recently, and you don't realise how much Disney liked the name Bruno until you read Bruno's name as a dog, and you kind of go, the man in the wolves, and I went, no, it's a dog. So, you know, they have a lot more Brunos than you think in Disney. And the Tangled one, I don't know what it is, but like the rest of them have all been like, as if it's the actual universe. It's not a story being told, this is actually happening in the universe. Whereas this one's like it's a story that's being told to a 16-year-old cancer patient by her brother. That's the story of the story. And they keep taking you out of the immersion of the story to go back to this patient who came here to read a twisted, tangled story, not two people talking about the story, you know? Like, even the Cinderella one, they switched, and the Frozen one, they switched to the villain's point of view. So they went from, like, in the Frozen one, they went from Elsa's to Anna's to Hans's to Kristoff's point of view, like, interchangeably. Like, they'd do it wherever the plot needed it. The Cinderella one, every time the tension would get really high, they'd switch to, like, Ferdinand or the prince's point of view and take the tension down a bit and then bring you back into it. But this one, they keep switching out of the story and reminding you that this is not real or going on in the story universe. This is a story being told, which is annoying me because I like to believe that these things are like true, almost. I don't know how to explain it, but like, I don't know if I'm making sense, but I'm trying. It's still like the same plot, I think, where Eugene finds her and something happens, but she doesn't have healing powers, so she has murder powers, basically. Death powers. She's basically just got like a death note for her hair, basically. You know, you can just like scream at someone and just drops dead. Scream at someone whilst they're touching your hair and they just drop dead. Basically, that's how the maid dropped dead. Anyway, so I think it still follows the basic plot of like the story. but it's now, obviously, she can now kill people instead of heal people. So that's going to be an interesting one when they get to the point where Eugene actually dies, unless it does like an Uno reverse thing of like, if they're already dead, then they can be brought back to life, which would be a very interesting thing, you know, it'd be like necromance. I have a rant about this book. I like the twisted stories because I don't have to get invested in a whole new set of characters. I am good. That's why I don't like reading books so much anymore, is because I only have so much mental capacity to care for so many characters, especially if it's like a series where you know someone's going to have to die at some point, and then you're just like, I don't want to get attached to anybody because someone's going to die and then I'm going to be upset. Okay, I've been rewatching She-Ra, like just some episodes. I haven't been like watching the entire thing. And Bo and Glimmer's relationship, especially in season 5, is like the best thing. Like, not the part where they're arguing, obviously, I don't like that bit. I like Glimmer better than I like Catra and Adora, Catra. Probably because Glimmer's, we see more of Glimmer, I suppose, and Glimmer's like nicer the entire time than Catra, and I find it hard to, I don't know, I find it hard to like people that are trying to kill people, you know? I don't understand why Adora would like her if she's trying to kill her all the time, but my error ace point of view on that one. I think they're a cute couple once they're together, but like honestly beforehand it's like, why do you like each other? They're trying to kill each other actively. Like, what the hell? That's not a healthy relationship dynamic. And like Glimmer in the 4th season does some really terrible things. She like uses the heart of Etheria, or tries to, even though Adora and Bo both tell her that's not a good idea because she, like, it's a weapon, it's not a good thing to be using, you know, it will backfire on you, and she still uses it because she's desperate. I feel like that's the difference, is the fact that Catra and Glimmer are very much parallels of each other in the 4th season, especially because they're both acting out of desperation, only Glimmer's already being manipulated by Lighthope. So I don't think it's all Glimmer's fault, because Glimmer is being manipulated, whereas Catra's kind of just being mean for the, I don't know. She's trying to win because she's a bit desperate at this point. I don't really understand Catra's motives, but I think that's just because I don't get the dynamics of like people very much. Like, if my best friend left somewhere because they were manipulating me, I don't think I would stay with the people that were manipulating me and try and kill my best friend, you know? That's just me though. And we wouldn't have a story if she didn't, so. But Glimmer was being manipulated by Lighthope, so it's not completely Glimmer's fault. And once she realises that it's a weapon and not like good for the planet, she kind of goes, oh, I've made a mistake, kind of thing. So she does try and stop it at least. I don't know, people don't like Glimmer because of the 4th season, because she kind of goes a bit off the rails, but like she is in grief, she does have grief. She's like in the midst of grieving her mother, trying to run a kingdom which she has no idea how to do because her mother was immortal and so they never really had to talk about this thing. Her best friends are leaving her to go on missions and she's being left behind because she's queen and she has to lead, obviously. So like she can't really like leave to go on to like Beast Island or whatever. Her best friends completely ditch her to go to Beast Island when she said not to. Like, which I understand why she said not to and I understand why they went, but still, like, you can kind of understand kind of where she was going for, like, well, I'm trying to like rule the kingdom and everything's failing. She lost Salines, right? I don't know if I said that right, but she lost like the sea, which is a really important one to keep. You know, it's a really important one to keep. So she lost the sea, and the alliance was falling apart, and everything like that was happening. And I think she was just like a bit desperate. It was horrible to like use the heart and not believe Adora, but I do kind of understand where she's coming from for that. It's not just the fact she is desperate or like doesn't believe Adora, it's the fact she's also being manipulated. Lighthope, who she trusts because Adora trusts at that point, is telling her it's a good idea, and then obviously Adora now doesn't trust Lighthope. She's being manipulated into using the heart, and she realizes it's a weapon and that Adora is right, and she tries to stop it, even if it's feeble stopping because she's kind of in a lot of pain. Also, Catra and Glimmer's friendship is like the most sweet thing ever. Once they're on Horde Prime's ship and they're all each other has, they actually get on really well. Like when they're like with their backs against the wall together and they're talking about like their perfect day on Etheria, or if they're trapped in this like Horde Prime ship, it's a really sweet moment, and it's like my favourite moment in the entire show. when they get back with Adora and Bo, Glimmer's always the one that trusts Catra. Well, not always, but like most of the time, she's the ones that trust Catra first. Like when Catra makes a door and like she's like, "You wanted a door, well there's your door." Glimmer's the first one through it because she trusts her, because they've been through something traumatic together, I suppose. Like Glimmer's not so traumatized as traumatized as Catra, because Catra was literally mind controlled, but she still holds trauma from that. You can see it in Save the Cat, where she's like having like slight panic from having to go back to Horde Prime ship. But their friendship is just very sweet. I think it's like adorable. So I'm gonna stop talking there because I've been talking for like nearly an hour, and I need to be able to edit this tomorrow. So thank you very much for watching this video. I'm sorry for talking a lot about like movies and books and stuff. It's just been things that I've been reading recently and I thought I'd talk about. So thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel, and follow my Instagram, OlympiaPeacechild, follow my Twitch, OlympiaPeacechild, and I shall see you in another video. Bye!